Gen Z feel mentally exhausted almost every day. It's like your brain is running a never-ending simulation you can't turn off. It feels like your mind is constantly running a marathon. Believe me, you are not lazy, and it's certainly not a lack of motivation. You are not broken. You have just grown in a place where everyone expects, including yourself. What you're experiencing is something psychologists call chronic cognitive overload, sometimes described as cognitive saturation. It's when your brain is processing so much information, social input, and digital stimulation that it never truly gets a chance to recover. Think about it. Waking up in the morning and you're already feeling left behind. Checking your phone, seeing a feed full of news headlines, notifications, and other people's highlight reels. You see people living the life you can only dream of. And by the afternoon, your executive function starts to crash, and even simple tasks feel overwhelming. You've probably searched phrases like Gen Z burnout, mental fatigue, why am I always exhausted, or chronic stress in young adults. And most of what you find online misses the point. They tell you to sleep more, exercise, or limit screen time. But the reality is more nuanced, and it explains why Gen Z is uniquely susceptible to chronic stress response activation, nervous system dysregulation, and emotional burnout. Let's start with part 1. Why this exhaustion is different from anything previous generations experienced. In the past, people often got tired from physical labor, long shifts, manual work, finite tasks. You worked hard, and when the shift ended, your body could recover. But Gen Z's exhaustion isn't primarily physical, it's mental. Your brain is constantly processing social comparison in real time, identity under observation, economic uncertainty, global crises, and digital stimulation that never stops. Every scroll, every notification, every decision triggers a small cognitive load, often without you even noticing. And the part of your brain responsible for managing all of this, the prefrontal cortex, has limits. When those limits are reached, you experience symptoms psychologists call executive dysfunction, decision fatigue, and attention fragmentation. Small tasks become overwhelming. Motivation drops. Mental fatigue accumulates in a way that doesn't disappear overnight. So the easy solution can't even be sleeping it off. Part 2. The attention economy. Gen Z is the first generation raised entirely inside algorithmic stimulation environments. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are built to constantly capture attention. They operate on variable reward schedules, meaning every scroll could deliver something surprising, entertaining, or socially validating. Each one triggers a dopamine spike. Over time, frequent spikes cause the brain to adjust its baseline expectations, a process called dopamine overstimulation. Suddenly, slower, effortful tasks like studying, working, or reading feel understimulating. Motivation fades, not because you're lazy, but because your brain has adapted to constant novelty. Part 3. Social evaluation and ambient stress. Humans evolved in small communities where reputation mattered, but Gen Z lives in continuous global comparison. Your identity isn't just lived, it's performed and observed online, academically, and socially. Psychologists call this social evaluative threat. When the brain perceives that you're being judged or compared, the sympathetic nervous system activates, cortisol rises, attention narrows, and the stress response triggers, even if nothing in your immediate environment is dangerous. Multiply that across infinite social feeds, global crises, and algorithmic content designed to grab attention, and you end up with ambient stress, a low-level, continuous activation that keeps your nervous system on edge. Over time, it contributes to mental fatigue, emotional burnout, hypervigilance, and nervous system dysregulation. When all these factors combine, cognitive overload, dopamine overstimulation, ambient stress, social evaluative threat, and chronic information exposure, your brain eventually starts conserving energy. In some cases, it shifts into the freeze response. Not fight, not flight, just pause. Motivation drops, executive function slows, and it can feel like nothing you do matters. From the outside, people might call this laziness or procrastination. But neurologically, it's a stress adaptation. Your brain is protecting itself from further overload. Zooming out, the bigger picture is clear. The human brain evolved for small communities, intermittent stress, and limited comparison. Gen Z lives in infinite feeds, algorithmic evaluation, and global uncertainty, and the nervous system is simply adapting to an environment it was never biologically designed for. So when someone asks, why is Gen Z always tired? The answer isn't laziness, it's chronic cognitive overload, dopamine dysregulation, executive dysfunction, and nervous system dysregulation, all stemming from a generation navigating a digital, high-stakes, hyper-connected world. If this feels familiar, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means your brain has been pushed beyond its normal recovery capacity, and it's telling you it needs real rest, true parasympathetic recovery, and moments without comparison or stimulation.